Hi and welcome to the Trading Bell Insurance Industry, and we are here to speak to the Group MD Tom Kitogo at Britam Towers. Tom, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Most welcome.
Let's have a seat and get started.
Yeah.
Let's get straight to the conversation. Tom Kitogo.
Thank you and welcome to my office.
It's good to see you again. Wow. Nice view actually, especially for our viewers who may not be able to have the view of Upper Hill and Nairobi from here. But first, let's get to the other view of your results. You released your half-year results, quite impressive. Notice an 18% rise in pre-tax profit and much more. I just wanted you to open up by telling us the feel that you have about the results and really projection for the full year and a bit of the drivers behind the performance.
All right.
Yeah.
So a significant part of that growth came from our insurance businesses here in Kenya.
Yeah.
Both our general insurance business as well as our life business.
Mm-hmm.
So that accounted for part of that improved results.
Yeah.
But also our investment income.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the work we are doing in terms of revisiting our investment portfolio and scientifically looking at it is bearing fruit.
Okay. I still want to dig deeper into that and ask you, when you look at your strategy, which you're almost nearing to an end now, are you happy with the performance and what are you projecting full year?
Yeah. For most businesses, as you know, everyone will have a strategy, but it is the execution of that strategy that differentiates outcome.
Yeah.
So we are very happy with the execution of our 5-year strategy, which, as you rightly pointed out, is coming to an end next year.
Yeah.
But part of what we have done is that within the strategic period and framework, we have been very agile, responding to the market dynamics as they have happened. And we're actually quite pleased with how well we have tracked along the expectations that our strategy had. So yes, a 5-year strategy that is tracking very well, but within nowadays, as you know, there is a lot happening at short notice, and one has to be quite agile within the framework of their strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time we spoke, you mentioned a few things, and I want to just verbatim say them, that you mentioned the company is moving beyond steady into a growth path. And I wanted you to help us understand from this half-year performance, how has this reflected and what challenges or opportunities have emerged so far?
So we've witnessed significant growth, especially in our general insurance. We have also witnessed growth in certain lines of business within our life business. There are some within the life business that are not growing as fast, and we know why. Some of it has to do with the changes in the macros and the reduction of disposable incomes to the citizens. We've also seen growth in the region, but I will be the first to admit that we expected more growth in the region, and we are actually going to focus on that in the remainder of the year, because we still feel there is more headroom for growth out there. Also, it is important for us to continue de-risking our reliance on results from our Kenyan businesses.
All right. Speaking of the expansion in the region, I would wish that you put some color into it, especially on the DRC market that you had alluded to, and I don't know how that is faring on, and just generally with this expansion kind of strategy. And I noticed it contributed 30% of your total insurance revenue. How is it faring on so far?
So we seem to have plateaued at a contribution level of about 30% from the region. We strongly believe, and statistics demonstrate, that that can be 40%, 50% ultimately. And the approach we are using is to deepen our service offering and solution offering in these countries. As I said last time, we do general insurance businesses in all the countries in the region that we have a presence in. But we have started deliberately to look at life. I'm not sure whether I mentioned last time that we are on the back end of starting a life business in Uganda.
Okay.
We are looking at Tanzania as well. We are looking at Malawi, and not ordinary life or individual life to start with, but the low-hanging end of life business.
Okay.
So we are looking at credit life, group life, and such, because we have a DNA and a competitive advantage of life business here in Kenya. So we believe and are convinced that that competitive advantage we have here will work well in the region. So the contribution of the region will first increase by us deepening what we do, the service offerings and the products that we have in the region.
Okay.
The next stage, or in parallel to that, where it makes sense, it's also widening our presence in the region. And this is why we are looking at DRC.
Okay.
It's a market that we are convinced we need to be in for various reasons.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll have another conversation on how the entry goes on, and wish you all well in that.
Thank you.
Speaking about your investment strategy and a bit of portfolio alignment, as you were speaking and I listened to you and the chairman, your investment income has grown by 150%. Quite impressive on that. And you said it's largely contributed to the ongoing realignment of the group's investment portfolio. I just wanted you to shed some light on that and provide some insights into this realignment and how you're balancing that need of stable returns versus the market volatility risks.
Yeah. So the first thing we have done, which has worked tremendously, is we have deliberately aligned our investments with the businesses that they support, so that any changes in macros that affect long-term insurance liabilities, for example, are also matched by long-term investments with a tenure of more than 10 years.
Okay.
In this market, there is a bit of a strain, or in terms of availability of long-term investments, because if you look at infrastructure bonds, for example, they are not many. I mean, the issues are not every day. So there is a bit of a strain there. So our property income from properties is helping smoothen a bit of that, as well as our deliberate reduction in investment in equities, and where we do, because you can't avoid investing in equities altogether, listed equities. We are quite careful which ones we go into, again, to reduce the volatility that I have mentioned to you before. So it is a deliberate scientific allocation of investments to back which liabilities, but it is also a deliberate intention, or we actively look for alternative investment solutions where the market is thin on providing appropriate investments. We would wish, obviously, that there were more longer-term investment solutions, longer-term infrastructure, bonds, and so on. But for our market, we cannot do without looking at alternative investment options.
And maybe I will get into that a little bit more. But in the past, you have told me and mentioned a little bit on how fair value losses have been part of the book. This time, when you looked at the results, are they still playing a big, significant role?
You cannot avoid technical losses, or market price-related losses, because in a high interest rate regime, as we currently are in, there will be bonds that are, quite decent in coupon returns, but are below the prevailing interest rate. So you cannot entirely avoid mark-to-market losses, but you can minimize them, the effect of that, by matching them to liabilities that also move with the interest rates levels in terms of the yield, the yield curve. But what we have done is we've also increased the portion of our portfolios that we do not have, that is not marked to market. So, for example, short-term businesses that previously had some portfolio backing of equities, for example, we have replaced that with bonds, longer-term bonds, or even short-term bonds. So it is. This is where our actuaries and our investment teams earn their pay. That constant realignment of our portfolio to match the ever dynamic interest rates. We have an advantage of being in 7 countries where the interest rates movements, though generally in the same direction, are not at the same pace, for example. So, for example, our balance sheets outside the country do not have to replicate our balance sheets here in Kenya. And from an overall perspective, therefore, we are able to ride the macroeconomic changes. So it's a whole science behind it, and it's a strategic one. We used to leave investment decisions to our investment advisors or investment side of the business only, but now it's actually a strategic issue that I discuss with my exco on an ongoing basis. That's what it has taken to ensure we ride out the variability or volatility of investment income, and the results are now apparent.
All right. Well done on your customer-centric strategy. It's working, definitely. That's why you have the numbers. And what I've also observed when I look through the news and what you've been doing, there's a lot of focus on reaching out to the customer. I've seen you opening branches. I've also seen a little bit of innovations coming by. I just wanted you to shed some light on what's informing this and how is it going, especially on the product innovations and partnerships that probably you're looking at.
It may sound obvious or business 101, but if what you're doing, you are doing for yourself, for your own convenience as a business, but not for the convenience and addressing customer concerns, you will not be able to do it for long. Or it will reflect on your lack of growth or profitability. So everything we do, we genuinely do it for our customers. We probably do a lot more customer forums, feedback sessions than most other businesses, and we have seen the fruit of that. Why is that important? Even just this year, the requirements and expectations of our customers in January, only 9 months ago, have changed if you compare them to their needs and expectations in August. Some in a significant way, especially in the digital part of the equation, but some in a subtle way. There is a growing but evident trend where the customer wants control. When you respond to the customer changing dynamics, you are rewarded with growth. And we have seen that growth come through even in otherwise difficult times, because it is no secret that the economic landscape, especially in the last few months, has been tough, not just on businesses, but also on individuals.
You're right. And you have not been spared definitely by some of the headwinds as well that are in the macro spaces. But I wanted to still focus on your customers, because I know you have been on a drive to reach the underserved, especially on the micro insurance stages. I noticed your partnerships as well that you have had with other companies like Airtel and all that. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask you, how is this? Is it working? Are these underserved populations now embracing insurance? Are you making observations?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the success areas that has exceeded our expectation is, for example, the technology area. Yeah. We have a WhatsApp chat bot that is doing extremely well. It has endeared itself obviously to the youth. Part of a big section of the underserved market in our region is the youth. But the way they are engaging with us now has made a significant difference. Yeah. And actually, some of the developments or enhancements we have made in our apps as well as our portals have actually come from the customers themselves. Okay. The moment they realized that we take their feedback seriously, that energized them to even give us more feedback. Yeah. So we are clear in our minds that one of the ways to significantly grow our impact and success in the underserved sections is through technological advancements, making it easier and convenient for people to get our services and our solutions. And also, technology enables us to serve the mass market efficiently with small bite-sized premiums. You can't necessarily do that with our usual distribution channels, which might be a bit more expensive or inefficient in reaching this underserved sector. So there is I'm actually quite impressed by the results of especially our WhatsApp chatbot. It's called Bella, B-E-L-L-A. Okay,
Bella. Yeah. Bella. Speaking about Bella, there's also this Better Lab, and I noticed these innovations that you're really keen on, and there's some people already, startups that are under incubation already. I wanted to ask you, what are you up to?
Yes. So we are future-proofing our business, not just with external startups. Last Friday, we had a whole day of an internal hackathon where we have invited our staff to come up with innovative solutions, ideas, and present them to a panel of experts made up of internal experts, but also external experts, because we've realized there are a lot of like-minded organizations that are more than happy to partner with us in the innovation space. I know we will talk about sustainability, but a lot of people divorce innovation from sustainability, but it's part and parcel of the same thing. So why are we doing this? The future nowadays comes quicker than in the past. So technological development solutions are more dynamic, or we require them at a faster pace than Britam, with all its resources, can possibly achieve. There are things as Britam that we know we are not good at, and we are okay with that. But we can partner with those that are better at them. So there's a lot of youth with a lot of ideas, but they do not necessarily have the working capital or the right environments or the data to try out their ideas on. And this is where we come in. So at the moment, we have about 6 startups under our incubation in our beta lab. Beta, B-E-T-A, not B-I-T-T-E-R. And you should see the excitement and the inspiration this is giving this youth with startup, with ideas. What of what benefit is it to Britam? Why is Britam willing to spend money on these startups?
Yeah.
It is because these ideas are good for the community.
Yeah.
They will provide job opportunities to these young people when their ideas scale and go to market.
Yeah.
We will obviously invest in some of them, but there will be those that we will release to the market with our blessings.
Yeah.
And that's our contribution to the communities that we serve in.
Yeah.
Obviously, because resources are limited, we are working with some partners where we can, with like-minded partners, and they are there. I would like to thank them.
Yeah.
But we are also limiting this space to financial services.
Yeah.
So it's fintechs, insurtechs, that sort of space, so that the first beneficiary of some of these ideas is Britam itself.
Yeah. Wow. And we certainly hope to get greater solutions that are innovative. You know, I'm excited about one thing though, your entry into the pension scheme for SMEs. And why I'm excited is because when you look at the figures and the statistics of, you know, how most people retire, and when you look at SMEs, most of them don't have the formal ways of savings. This is quite a very direly needed product, if I may say. Just give some color on that and why you decided to move there.
So a lot of business people in the SME space have realized that investment in their staff is investment in their business. Paying them a salary is just the first level. It's not enough. And we have seen some of these SMEs, especially here in Kenya, continually grow to where they are actually quite sizable businesses. And we want to prepare them for the growth that is inevitably coming. And one obvious place is enabling them to increase their staff benefits. All of us are living longer than we used to many years ago because of various reasons, technological improvements, health discoveries, and so on and so forth. When you are working, it makes sense for you to have an avenue to save for later life. Now, an SME might not be big enough to efficiently set up a pension scheme for its 10 or 20 staff members. But this is where Britam comes in because we can bring together several SMEs, bring in the efficiencies of an elaborate pension scheme for your 10 members of staff, for your 8, your 15, and so on and so forth, and leave the provision of requisite professional services, whether it is the audits of these pension schemes, the investment professionals that are required for this. You leave the running and management of the pension scheme to us, because that's our business, that's what we do best. And all the SME does is obviously submit the premium. So we are taking the headache of setting up some of these employee benefits from the entrepreneur or from this SME, so that they do what they know and what they do best. And then it's a win-win. The SMEs have motivated staff because all of a sudden now the benefits of a small SME can compare with the benefits of working for a big multinational. So that's the bridge we are bringing.
Lovely. Before we get into sustainability, because I'm excited you launched your inaugural one, let's talk about dividends, because I would be skinned if I don't ask this question by your shareholders.
That's true,
one thing that I noticed is that you had, the high performance, some people had expectations, probably you might give something, but you still emphasized on your anticipated dividend payouts in 2025. Is that still in the offing?
So it's a technical issue. The business made a significant loss in 2020. So that resulted in a significant loss brought forward in the retained earnings.
Okay.
And it is technically not possible under the Companies Act and normal accounting principles and expectations that we would pay a dividend when we still have a negative retained earning from that loss. So we've been wiping that out, thank God, over the last few years.
Yes.
And as soon as that is totally extinguished and we can see that happening soon, then we will revisit the issue of dividends, because obviously investors invested in Britam expecting a return, in addition obviously to what we do to the community.
Okay. Finally, because of time, beautiful launch of your sustainability report and all that, inaugural, and especially being the lead in this sector of the insurance. I just wanted you to share some highlights from it, and really what are some of the key takeouts from your end?
So you're right, we launched our sustainability report a few months ago. I think it was in May, and it's available on our website, and I would like to invite various stakeholders to have a look. What is a sustainability report in brief? It is obviously a report card on what we have been doing in the sustainability space, whether it is in our diversity, in our management, in our boards across the 7 countries, or even in where we source our inputs from. Who do we sign up as a provider of? Do we have youthful suppliers? Do we have marginalized suppliers, and so on? So that's all there. Are we equitable in what we do? Do we pay our staff the same, irrespective of gender, religion, and so on, as long as they are doing the same work? And in deliberate inclusivity in whatever we do, even in the solutions we find we are providing. Are we providing a solution for all communities, irrespective of where they are, rather than just focusing on, say, Nairobi, for example? So that's part of it. The bigger part of it for me is the commitment we are making publicly, i.e., Mr. Public Individual, we are telling you this is what we will do this year, and at the end of the year we will report back to you in the next sustainability report, where we have marked ourselves against what we said we would do, and so we are publicly declaring our stand. This is what we will do. A few days ago we launched our solar solution for Britam Center, our offices in Upper Hill, where we are using solar to power our office. This is a commitment we had made, and I can't wait for the next sustainability report to indicate there for the public that we are saving carbon emissions of so many tons, and so on, more than 20 million tons. So 20 tons. I'll get you the figure. But it's an exciting big figure. So it is the element of saying what we are committing to do, and we are not just doing it for the sustainability report. We have incorporated sustainability in our day-to-day strategy and BAU, business as usual. It is in our thinking, it is in our fabric, because it is the right thing to do. Governance. We know from research that well-governed organizations, on average, have a positive delta on their profitability compared to not so well-governed organizations. So they make business sense, and that's why we are doing it. We are also doing it, obviously, for the positive impact that it has on the community. just last week, we were on the border of a school near the border of Kenya and Tanzania, somewhere in Oloitoktok, where in partnership with others, we have dug up a borehole of clean water that is powered by a solar pump. And
impressive.
Because just because you're in a remote corner of the country doesn't mean you shouldn't have clean water. Why shouldn't you?
Why shouldn't you? I was about to say thank you, but Lea Mama, we must touch that because this is such a very touching program that you have.
Yes.
Could you kindly care to say something on it?
Mortality rates worldwide are still unacceptably high. You won't believe it in this day and age. So rather than just make a note that the statistics are still unacceptably high, we've done something about it with obviously some hospitals. On this specific one, we are doing it with Jacaranda hospitals and others. This is providing information to mothers during their pregnancy period that will be useful and that significantly improves the chances of them going through the pregnancy with very little complications, if at all. Remember, a lot of these mothers are first-time mothers. So what they want is information, but where what they are going through requires medical attention, obviously through technology, they are able to link to doctors straight away. And should they need to go to a hospital, Britam provides ambulance services to take them to hospital. So it's technologically based for it to make sense and for us to reach mothers in remote areas. And just provision of information on their hard set can significantly make a difference on the outcome of their pregnancy experience. We've made very many happy mothers across the country, and that alone is inspiration enough and motivation enough for us to continue.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time, Tom.
Right.
So it's a pleasure having Tom really speaking and spearheading insurance initiatives and really innovation, and wish them well even as we look forward to the full year results. Thank you so much for your time. I leave you now with the markets.